This was the coming of what's complete to satisfy you. For the harpening, the beginning of the what's dining. For the custodian, you can find a university of conversing of the communication, because we are all actually going to change history. Maybe imagine yourself, the sculpture of steel, rings broken in halves, but opening your way for the bullet with the history, only a helicopter towards the open sky. Seems impossible, possible, because maybe the bridge between relativity and the quantum mechanics is really uncertain. Imagine yourself in the conditioning of the future that was difficult enough for the forging ahead, but the broken itself would never really knew it, a bridge that was lost. It could be an example of what the painter only to canvas entirely, instead of looking upon the instant surfaces that already man-made for the frail world, all the history in the fragile stained glass, and yet writes in the narrative for the shaping of every movement forward. Ways of understanding your behavior, your matter cannot be true, but yet somehow still behaving as a true one lives in one on the planet from across the world. Meanwhile, reached up for the without the thinking, cabling and dining without the broom, saying in the bits but pieces to guide the rope, which you never knew but what was confusing, and made for all the wrong turns in geometry and abstraction, and every letter would make it sound impossible. You could practice but willed, but not for the meeting of one person. But people don't record it in the room bloom like the water of blood and light. Reaching, the mocking, the lad of arriving at every middle for the terms, for the settling, for the body to know what the God is, and the music to do with the strings, and into the voice of the body of a drum, breathing through its wind, shattered with the pains of the stained glass, depicting in sweet from the berry cotton along the road. It's to be the evening star with the cold light known, for the tightest drawn, for the evening sharp from the edge for the dissolution. It could be not made for the solution, but named it came into the work for the dining, and the hating is something image you want to adjust to. All for the living of the wrong, but it's a pattern. This is the last for the year, for the yesterday is the morning, the sun going down with the wrong horizon. Slow green screen, for the blue and the day, and me, in the born in between place. I curse the fucking dawn for the grinds in the mirror, for the terrors dividing the bodies of three. There's the catalog for the metadata with the corpse and location, and you can find the registry. Bullet punching through a body like punching through a ticket to registering for the passage, and maybe just knowing of what God is the art, but not the new in the nation with the citizen of a crime. You will be always asking for the labor to bend silent upon delivering for the star of the evening's twin brother, for the prosperous, for the morning who rose up into dawn and more, the big parting of the day for the metaphor, of course for the life of the nephew could spill, tended for the plot and the political. Maybe it was caused with the smoke in the hallway for the door opening and the key to the stolen shadows appearing. What was the shadow for the sound, for the misdemeanors and heavenly minutes and weighted like the tattoos? It was the rumors of weather offering and second assault. I crunch down for the meaning and draw smooth blouses for the corner of the world, flowers to the water of the light. Now I have the intentions and violence, but these can be chromatic and gestures and nothing that I pretend. Sound has become directions impossible to the road, for the gate opening can be death of me. What passes for the beyond the horizon, for the black hole cannot define the universe is made of the universes, right? What we're right, but the shatter for the glass, for the change, the recipe for the you did it for the beautiful. Maybe the blood in the bodies and finding the singing in the rain, possibilities from the streets, the technique and found in abstraction, sound for the social. This is the physical matter for the universe. You can be astrophys with the particle, space of time. You do not read the article because against the body for the resting attempt against space and me, the composer. Space between the language and I'm found. I come to this village and I come to the same place where you are. The product of light, rest the pedal for the material, and maybe the other lighthouse in dark and unlit. The instrument silence. Living by the laws of drawn man, for the laws of God, man, Sarah Rail, who created effect for me, erected with the frame for the chainsaw for the night. At this moment, the seasons are the water, the reflection of every face, and I know the waves, and contains in every wave to that moment the violence it contains, and maybe the memory of remembrance. Maybe it's either case of inventing the past, which it means to change in the future, which means the machine of time is real for the years of the parts and the registration of real. The train has a question or ridiculously find splendid with spite. The physical object can be graphed and mapped. Impossible to see, possible to feel retraction, or how finishes that pattern ever unfolding. Flick it down to kind of where the rocks stand for no question at all. Here it is. Deciding by the gut, the glisten, imagine myself faster. Promising the passage, and maybe to the brass, and maybe somehow enough for the circulation to calculate, accounting for the decision to bite it toward with the support for the alongside. It may be a good deed for the God, but return for the recount to explain yourself the differences you had. Somehow you sound to improvise the creation of geometry patterns, the branch of the swirling. Coming of what's complete to satisfy you. For the harping, the beginning of the what's dining, for the custodian, to find a university of conversing of the communication, because we are all actually going to change history. Maybe imagine yourself, the sculpture of steel, wings broken in half, but opening your way for the bullet with the history, only a helicopter towards the open sky. It seems impossible, possible, because Because maybe the bridge between relativity and the quantum mechanics is really uncertain. Imagine yourself in the conditioning of the future that was difficult enough for the forging, a head for the broken self, but never really knew it, a bridge that was lost. It could be an example of what the pain they're performing the past.
In the summer, right through my
You speak those, traveling, carrying of the words. We arrive at the ocean with the words. We're able to speak in the sound to the thunderous waves and speaking how majestic it is with the ocean, the power that gives us the songs. And we sing it with the respect to call it a relative. Translation to find the fellowship. You and the palm to be one distance away from another. As long as we sing, we will carry the same sounds of how the ocean powers. Devour yourself in time, becoming one of the finest minds and finding some strength within the evolution or the evolving of the music of the poem, of the sound of the village where you come from, the complicated takes and steps. You can find the university, you can find the adversity within the real poem. You can find it within a situation, within a metaphor. Here's the cooling of that hot day with not a lover for the other one that will pass across the time, chatting between something else in the mind that can't comprehend. I will stampede. I will be a Minuteman. I will be a watch out. I will be a love song. I will suggest to every full account of being an individual to find your specimen, or the relative art, or the last clear narrative at all for the under. There are two magic places you can find similar accounting. I like a little like a flashlight for the drifting of the bed, for to find a diary for the surface, to looking back and the promising of ignition, the aspiration, find a thumb with the moment to stick up in the air for whose thumbs up in the 7-ups, and who's the lucky one to find some relatives in the surrogate, or a specimen, the interchangeable live and often seem like an inheritance, or including of your endowment. And for the arts of fellowship you can ever find, pressing or release, please read these poems without personal statements. They will let you off the hook, and you will find the book that you can find, the University of the Universal Merciless, and I can find amongst many of the funniest too. There's a center of indulgence, eating the underworld, a counterpart. You are to be shine within. Heart broke down like a bike. Heart broke down like a bike. Heart broke down like a bike. So I bought one for the bike. Heart broke down like a bike. So I bought one for the bike, and the wore out for the balk, the skates, and wore them down to the ranning and taught the sneakers and where to throw. There they walk for the walk around, for the walking of the feet, for the you could bought the new ones, and happy to see them find a nice feet that you have on, the paraphrasing of the stories to listen behind the happening. Your friends of America can tell the only good story. Wasn't too far that I can stay married. So far but so good and felt undeniably unlucky enough. This is the poetry that maybe the goddamn same is the one to getting up into the sons of the audience. This is the one long shot, the sobering and promising the one do not fuck anyone else in the particular reading the poem. This is the Jesus that has no penis. And this is the minor, the mental, psychiatric, attractive, and the follow they saying a little bit of. And this is the libido and finding your mind within the sun and fix itself in the almost written, the good novel and the meaning to finish. I'm the light to myself on fire, fire with the emptiness and desire. What is meant to be is not chemical and jealousy or boredom. This is lethargic and maybe the prominent example. This is the feet that I am marching to the same beat. And this is the neurotic slave, and I thought anxiety maybe do it. This is the making to get up and come forth and carry. And this is the calm, the children, the singing, the schools, the poems dragged by little hands in their serigraph, and paragraphs and pages of the marriage and sustained by the remaining energy in your project. This is the broken picture between the summer plans and the demons met. This is the request that the granted the bunny noodles with without the cheesy all the same time for the night of the assignment you can have is the permissible invisible letters, and it all stopped. Find the syndrome. If you got it classical, it can be chemical or mental circuitry. We got to fix this for the classical. I'm saying I can make it better for everything remaining the same, the thing but better. I slept in the morning and I got up, and you could find the husband still a full of heart, eating and making the spirits and picking apart the money to fight. This is the I'll pay for the later. I'm still in pain with the elbow writing the prose for the shit to get the holding letter, and I'm still lost and less and sleepy, crazy opposed to crazy jealous. And maybe the Jesus has no penis. It's amazing that the poets and kick ass with the fine dream step. And I'm the government that makes him beat. We put the stickers in Driver license to have the happy members of the Jews and mine at all. You can get us escaping the beautiful light with the blue air. I trade or trade into nine. I divide the Gentile within the mind in case of its own blood and barriers. Harsh to scold, the sleepy, the waking, the sleeping, the dough to define the dosage. Dreams in every mind's away, perhaps. My mind's a little plastic and malleable, but so fatal. Doses the engineer like the new genetic watercress with the turning of the green reed. Read the planted, overbury the minds. Nitrogen for the early autumn and red march with the spot where I must watch a step and half step with the dosing of specific ways. And you can be a psychiatrist and when I'm a hate. In lust with the struggle with the moves to prove style for the missing of the train. I tug the boy with the single follow with the platform, the sting of the hour between the disasters. Blithely, I step between lively, carefully, wisely. I sing all ditties and play something a pretty great song for the metal filthy and little city of fun for just to enjoy life and trials, mile for mile. Lucky enough to have such dependable feet with the rollers who never frightened. I'm calm and suspected to recover with the left device, and I was twice as fast getting it everywhere, but I didn't get. But be there, inevitable location for rendering rating. Red rats just scurry the ferry. Next time the train comes up, the dosage is fine and find a cut. Brisket for the hot of investing with the paprika. Maybe this is the listening in the onions and adding the wine for the meat with the onions. And Mr. How it smells like meat, how it smells like beef, how it smells like I'm trying to get out of Egypt this year, but I'll be better. Making sense of the big mentoring and save the self for the jealousy of the soul thing. Slaves, sling for the plenty, 7 up for the famine, insomnia for the nights counting up in grains, storing for the planning of what, safe throw to the smalling of the view in your shoes, and holy ground for the pitiful and combustible bush. It's God's chemical ores and an enzyme. It's great to need the chaos. It's unforgivable to the people with the salty cheeks. Slap, turn, slap to be chosen, unforgiving, and always better. This is the mind, the long obsessive. I'm served for the war times and coming into the accessible thing to the before they hoarded, referring to the peace suit. And get the hell out of figure, brother, never can be disarming you anyway. Happens to be, won't be better than that. It could be the glove for the Jew, the club for the no big man at all, and the small girl, how fast can you be? This is the refugee backing on. This is the worst and gets smart again and worse. Better to live again and live, not better. Listen, said you. You can lose sleep, and sleeping isn't death, and all the children and learning and fear and got confused. Thought thinking was the same as suspending and right up another dosage, and this is the part of the syndrome, the medication for being better. Truth is an anti-perceptional weight. I work the wonders and dragging me through the life's course. About this time to find the years for the spreading of the rumors of use and find the Jew, the blood to make an unleavened good bread. Sings the songs and whenever Christ rises, blood and blood for the babes in the basement, and briskets and bread for all the afflictions. I'm calm now.
In a simple place you can find the meditation or meditation. In a simple place you can find the meditation. In a simple place you can find the meditation or meditation. In a simple place you can find the meditation or meditation. In a simple place you can find the meditation or meditation.
Seasons change, and I tried hard just to soften you. And seasons change, but I've grown tired of trying to change for you. 'Cause I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you. 'Cause I've been waiting on you.
the bodies of babies. Basements and briskets and all breads for the new fixings. I am a calm now with the pounds of beef. For the maid for the frozen departure schedule with parts and pills of liberation. We find a Gentile with a dream. The boy American passport. Gray-eyed psychiatrist. My blue-eyed self. Blue-eyed soul for the sun, for the poems and their pretty little feet. Shots for the friends, for the skin, for the husband. The maiden right boat. Fire for the fire inside the deep. Near for the front, too much to carry the monger because something smithered. We're bearing your tensing children to be better than the this life for the reading of the better of this. We're loving to be loving, you guys to be wanted. For the Buddha, for only Jesus, that is the shit. For the inner levels, for the home, with that's it. For the camera, for the blood, for the pressure, there's no the better than you to post for the child, for the signs of wonder with a little chemistry, that's his brain. Blood thought, hey, you know Pharaoh actually wanted to let them go. These are the multitude of Jews that only the God-hearted. Hey, are just them for proving the poet. This is a sign the winner outstretched the hand, but just is the perfect 10. For the man for the horses wild fade, falling short. Tambourines and then what? Do you get the smell of slavery off with this bloody now with the story of them to be lucky? That's for them for their own obsession. I'm here because of it, because of what my ancestors did for me. Tell this to the story outstretched, and this is what it did for the remarked door, for the behind the red, behind the round, around the corner, blue-eyed boy waits. This is the love of me, of the belief of the brothers, is simply the body, the professional detachment, the medical advancements of father. Giving your mother for father with this a long time. This is what it is. This is the raps, affliction and escape. The mind vibe to get bombed to water, bring it safe to be like everyone in the stints, or the stage. Or maybe it's better for the other nations to find what got us into this and how to find a long ass poem anyway. Nowhere. We are better, all better. All the time. That's the effect. You know more than person. Find a son or a sister in your brother. Your brother and sister, what do you think about drugs going through? You find the car that broke down. You're happy to see yourself. This happened to be the friend of marriage. Still blue. Or maybe I should stop finding about the month and about the time. Maybe it was that still blue boy. Or maybe I should stop finding about the month and about the time for the year, for the years to go, for the creeds to spread the rumors of the globe. Huddle with the basement accused of the user. Make uneven signs and wonder with the price rises with the blood, the bodies of the basements and briskets and all breads from the afflictions. I am a calm now with the pounds of me for the made for the frozen department schedule with cars and pills of liberation. We find a Gentile with this meaning of a boy American passport. Gray-eyed psychiatrist, my blue-eyed self. Blue-eyed soul for the sun, for the poems and their pretty little feet. Shots for the friends and the skin for the husband, maybe right over. Fire for the fire inside the deep. Near for the front, too much to carry the monger because something smithered when you're bearing your tensing. Your children will be better than the this life for the reading of the better of this. You're never to be loving, you like to be wanted. For the Buddha, for only Jesus, that is the shit. For the inner level, for the home, for that's it. For the camera, for the blood, for the pressure to know where the better than you composer for the sky, for the signs of wonder with little chemistry, that's his brain. Blood thought, hey, you know Pharaoh actually wanted to let them go. These are the multitude of Jews that only the God-hearted. Hey, heart just them for the proof of the poets. This is the signs of winter outstretched the hand, but just is the perfect 10. For the man, for the horses wild fade, far short. The tambourines and then what? Do you get the smell of slavery off with the bloody now for the story of them would be lucky. For the own obsession. I'm here because of it, because of what my ancestors did for me. Tell this to the story outstretched, and this is what it did for the remarked door, for behind the red, behind the round, around the corner, blue-eyed boy waits. This is the love of me up, the leaving your brother, the simple, your body, the profession, the detachment, the medical advancements of father. For giving your mother for father with us a long time. This is what it is.